Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Thursday. My name's FloppingGroper, aka NickCipher, and we're just going to do a quick Bitcoin update for you guys. Bitcoin lost some key weekly VWAP supports, and we are under its monthly VWAP, the July VWAP. So, July overall has been a bearish month. As you guys know, even though we've had these big rips to the upside, you can't deny that we're still creating lower highs. And we even failed to. I mean, look at the wick there, trying to break out of that July VWAP, getting slammed back down, not just below the monthly VWAP, but also the weekly VWAP too. So we've lost the past 2 weeks VWAPs and the July VWAP, and so it's a little bit concerning. I got to come out in front of it and let you guys know that Bitcoin has lost some key supports that it really should have held. Not to say that I couldn't reclaim these and stun, because it has been, like, it's been in a volatile kind of state. Like, it's not just simply ebbing and flowing between these VWAPs in a safe fashion. It is in price exploration, trying to do, it has volatility to it. So, not to say that we couldn't reclaim the current week's VWAP, play around in this range, and then break up. Certainly could happen, but at this current point in time, we've lost the weekly VWAP. So if you like my analysis and you like Market Cipher, the way I read these waves and everything, pick up Market Cipher. 25% off, code PLATINUM here. Go to marketciphertrading.com. I also have an affiliate link in the description. And we got tutorials. We got a community with 17,000 members, 17,000 traders in there. And so it's a good deal on that. You could get the Mike Perry shirt at empowertraders.com. The pump cover, super cool. And we also got that Jake Paul, Mike Perry fight. Mike's going to have our company logo on his shorts in the ring as he battles Jake Paul. It's going to be the fight of the year, in my opinion. This is a super epic fight. Much better matchup for Jake Paul than that Mike Tyson thing that he had going on. And make sure, before we get started, to follow my Twitter at FloppingGroper for updates. And also my Instagram if you want to do that too. Now, looking at the month, I was shocked to see Tron in the top performers of the month. Let me look at the Tron chart real quick, because personally, I like Tron, and I heard that Justin Sun and Tron is like working on something. I'm not like a crypto nerd expert, man. I just look at the price, but I saw something about Tron trying to get like fee-less stablecoin transfers, and so Tron is already a pretty cheap chain compared to sending like ETH Tether, ERC20 Tether. Sending Tron Tether is dirt cheap, and so Market Cipher, us as a company, we've been paying our affiliates and our employees with Tron Tether for as long as we can remember. And so we have a soft spot in our heart for Tron, because obviously it has a real use case. And if they're working on fee-less stablecoin transactions, which is something I read about just recently, that would explain like why the price of Tron has done so well. I mean, look at Tron here. Let's I mean, overall you see Tron rallying nicely back up from those March highs. This is very nice to see. If we slap an anchor on July, you can see it's been over its July anchor and doing very well. So good for Tron. We're happy for Tron. It's a nice chain. Justin Sun's a good dude. He believes in aliens, so he's like, I got that kid's back, man. He's a good guy. And so yeah, I mean, I had to talk about Tron because I got a soft spot in my heart for Tron. Bitcoin, on the other hand, losing monthly and weekly structure, VWAP structure, volume weighted average price structure. That's what I like to talk about. I don't, everyone else, all the other YouTubers you follow, are going to talk about different things: Fibonacci's, SFPs, and naked points of control, and all these things, man. And it's all valid. Typically, when one of these things fires, like, they're all firing, and it's good to use as much of these things together as you can wrap your mind around, right? But I just have this VWAP trading system. So far, it's doing good for me. You go to the weekly chart, and you grab that anchored VWAP tool, on the left here under projections. You go to volume-based projections above the paintbrush. You click anchored VWAP, and you go to the weekly chart, and you just click the current weekly candle and the one before that. That way, when you go into the smaller time frames, such as like the hourly, you have it's these yellow ones. Like this is this week, and then this one over here is the week before that, aka the July 1st, or this is also the monthly VWAP. So this gives us like our weekly trading range, and now we're under that. So I am seeing on the 1 hour, we got a little green dot on this wave here. The only thing is the money flow is just not looking very convincing at all on the 1 hour. And so you have like a decent wave reading, but it's not the full picture. It's not a mature, good, thick red money flow long setup here. But maybe there's a hope that we do reclaim 57,245. If we can get over that, then the odds of you making that play back to the monthly VWAP go up a lot. It's not that big of a move, but it is something I have to, to let you know. Obviously, it's hard to be bullish unless Bitcoin goes over 58K. 58K, you've probably heard other YouTubers talking about it. 58K is a really important level to hold, and I agree with that because that's currently where the July anchored VWAP is. And you can see, like, when we do try to go over it successfully, we get big candles to the upside because a Bitcoin that is over 58K is a Bitcoin that wants to go to 64K. But a Bitcoin that's under 58K is a Bitcoin that wants to test these lows. Potentially even lower because the monthly... another thing I want to talk about is, like, this isn't just a monthly VWAP. This yellow July anchor here, this one right here, it's not just July. It's not just a 2-week VWAP. This is a quarterly VWAP. July 1 is the start of quarter 3. And so the side that price picks alongside this anchor is, like, very significant. This is an anchor that's just as significant as, say, the April 1st anchored VWAP from back here. This is like the start of Q2, and we had some drama around it at the start, right? But eventually it flipped bearish, and it was a level to short Bitcoin at for like 2 months until the May anchor ended up coming out and saving us. So as long as we're under the July VWAP, the quarter 3 VWAP, it's a little scary, man. It's scary. You look at the daily, and the overall candle structure screams like a double top. That being said, you got to be mindful of just chart patterns, because for every asshole who's saying that this is a double top, you have another asshole saying that it's just a bear flag, or sorry, a bull flag. So it's like, chart patterns are iffy because like, one pattern just turns into another pattern, and oh, you were wrong. And chart patterns just have like a 55% win rate. It's like basically just a coin flip. So you got to look at the psychology. I definitely felt like the psychology, like on crypto Twitter, the read, the engagement levels, what people are saying about Bitcoin, and also the fact that we held this critical Q4 of 2023 VWAP back here. All those things suggested to me that, maybe July as a month could flip bullish, and we could make our way up to that June anchor, the blue anchor, up at 63.5. But we're still under the July anchor for now. We keep getting slammed down underneath it. And so I just need to see 58K reclaimed, and I'm more comfortable coming out in support of that play up to the June anchor. Until then, we're under some critical levels here. GBK Trading asked me an anchored VWAP question. He says, you just mark the top of the candle bodies. So what you're going to do is you're going to double click one of your VWAPs and disable these bands here. These bands are probably going to be enabled for you. Disable those bands and make sure the source is OHLC4. This is going to generate your anchored VWAP at the open, high, low, close divided by 4. A nice good midpoint for your VWAP, as opposed to placing the VWAP at the candlestick high or the open or something silly like that. That's pretty much my settings for the anchored VWAP. John Asher says, "Eat my short, bro." Good to see you in, bro. John Asher is one of Britney Spears' music writers. He writes music for famous people, and me and him have caught a lift a couple times. I'm gonna add you as a moderator, bro. I just wrenched you, bro. You better come back in and say hi every now and then, man. Good to see you in. Peter Sniff says it looks exactly like the 2020-2021 double top. You know, it's crazy that markets do that, bro. Like, they will repeat the pattern. Like, a chart will make you think that things are repeating, and sometimes it does repeat. It all depends on the psychology. It's like whatever people think can't happen, like, will often happen, which is funny to think about. It's just a big mind fuck, bro. It's just a mind fuck. GBK Trading says, "I've never used them before." A lot of people haven't. GBK. It's a relatively new tool. In my first TradingView tutorials a couple years ago, there was not an anchored VWAP tool. It's a tool that was created. It's a modified version of the intraday VWAP. So if I zoom in real quick for you, and we have this as a part of Market Cipher if you get Market Cipher, but the intraday VWAP is a critical part of Market Cipher SR's scalping strategy, and it's just a volume weighted average price that resets at the start of every daily candle. And it's a critical intraday scalping support because no matter what time frame you go on, that VWAP line is always the same level. It's not like a moving average that is changing depending on whatever time frame you're looking at it. It's static. It's a control variable for your analysis. It is the line where when price goes to that line, traders are swooping in to either long or short the asset. Now, if you're looking at an asset from an investing standpoint, buying underneath the VWAP is a good way to get to just chase value on an intraday basis. But if you want to scalp and leverage trade, you actually want to trade more with the trend. Like if you see a slip below the VWAP, chances are it's going to continue down in that direction. And you want to catch those moments in time, or try to at least, where the VWAP is a guide. You know, you look at the slope of the intraday VWAP, it's up, right? And so you just play with the trend. The trend is your friend until the end. So the intraday VWAP is great for scalping, but there is a man by the name of Brian Shannon who took this volume weighted average price calculation and created a tool on his Alpha Trends program where you can put it on any candle you want. So you could generate a weekly VWAP or a monthly VWAP or a VWAP placed on a earnings report or a CME gap or just any notable event that you want to gauge the volume and the price average from that point, such as maybe like an ETF being approved or something like that. The anchored VWAP tool is amazing for that. And so you guys got to pick up this book if you like my analysis and you like the simplicity of these dynamic supports and resistance lines that are volume weighted. There's this book. Oh shit, my green screen is covering it, but you got to get this book, Anchored VWAP. It's called Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP by Brian Shannon. You look this up. It's only like $50 on Amazon, and that's like the best $50 you'll ever spend on your technical analysis journey. So definitely get that book, and that'll tell you everything you need to know, man. A lot of what I do is basically just what I learned from the Anchored VWAP book. But it's a new tool, and so not many analysts use it, but I think it's one of the best volume indicators out there, man. I don't really like those volume bars. As you see, like I have my volume bars disabled on this chart, but I do love volume indicators. Like the money flow on Market Cipher is a volume weighted indicator. It's a volume weighted oscillator. It's the money flow index down here. So we use that for volume, and you can always like gauge like trends in upward volume to the upside here. Like see this upward trend in volume here to the upside, and you can kind of gauge like when in time that trend will die off too. But there's just something about volume weighted indicators that are pinned to the y-axis. Like instead of the x-axis down here, I like seeing the actual price levels where traders swoop in to initiate trades. That's how you know, like, I mean, look at this interaction around the intraday. We're getting some good, you know, the market's pivoting around this intraday VWAP. It's a critical inflection point. You see it happen in real time, man. And if we reclaim, I mean, first of all, we could reject here off of the current weekly VWAP, this yellow line here. But if we can come over it, right, that is the play up to the monthly VWAP. And so that's a critical support that you would want to gain. It's currently resistance, but if you gain that as support, the play up to the monthly VWAP is a lot more confident. So that's how I use these things. Honestly, like, if we rejected at these levels, if we slipped back below the intraday, I would not be surprised after losing these levels. But nothing saying it couldn't reclaim it. That's just what we're dealing with right now. NATO Bell says, do an anchored view up off of January 1st. Hit it the other day. Called a lot of bottoms and tops. For me, we did not hit it, bro. The intraday VWAP, or sorry, the year-to-date VWAP is way up at 60,732. If I go to the daily chart, or actually, let's go to the monthly chart. We'll go to January. Put it on January there. We didn't hit it yet. That being said, the year-to-date is such a powerful VWAP that it is influencing the price. It's like the gravity of a large planet, right? And so the fact that you're under the year-to-date VWAP is kind of like weighing heavy on Bitcoin right now. Like, this is not the place that Bitcoin. This is not the place you want Bitcoin to be in if you're like a bullish up only trader. You know, maybe if you are a long-term investor, you know, you're looking at Bitcoin underneath the year-to-date valuation here, the volume-weighted average price, and this is some good value. You know, like, if you're like dollar cost averaging, now would be like a good time to start dollar cost averaging, because technically it's underpriced from a yearly standpoint. But as a trader, like, as someone who understands the power of, like, the trend is your friend until the end, being under this is like not good, man. Not good, bro. Yeah, there's just a lot of work Bitcoin has to do to get out of the gulag here. Look at all these VWAPs stacked against you. You got the year-to-date VWAP here at 60,747. And even if you get through that, you got to get through the poop line. The poop line is the year-to-date low from January 23rd. And that's the line that we dumped super hard from just recently. And so getting over the poop line will be just as difficult as getting over the year-to-date. And then if you get over that, you got to get over the previous month's anchored VWAP, which we never even tested. It's so strong, we never even tested it as resistance. Like, see, we look at this area underneath that blue line that we still haven't filled. If we did end up having to fill that, that would be an amazing swing long play. But I wouldn't bet on that until, like, some clean structure over the current month's anchored VWAP. But if that did happen, that's like a good 10% move. And then even if you get over all of that, you still got to get over the Q2 VWAP and the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's a lot of, I mean, at this point, once you get to like 65, what is this, 65.7, then you could think about, like, say, swing long in and seeing if you get a good macro market continuation. But that's a lot of battles that need to be had before you get to that point, man. So you can't even talk about that. It's like, let's talk about 58K first. Let's talk about 60.7. Let's talk about 62.9. All these levels we got to talk about before we talk about breaking a new all-time high. Let's see. Let's take a look at Pepe here. Pepe also trading under its weekly anchor and the monthly anchor and the June anchor. Similar situation as Bitcoin, just with more volatility. So Pepe is a good meme coin to trade. But if you're going to trade Pepe, make sure you mind your leverage. Make sure you're doing 100 push-ups a day, because your mind needs to be sharp if you're going to be trading shitcoins, volatile-ass shitcoins. But if you do it, you could change your life if you do it smart. Ethereum also kind of had this like false break over the July anchor. Now we're back down under it. But Ethereum is closer to its anchor. Like, see how it's like, it seems to be fighting and clinging to this July anchor a little bit better than Bitcoin. Getting a good little wave reading here on the 1 hour. Ethereum not looking too bad, but it is under that anchor. So you really want to see Ethereum come over 3,097 with the quickness and stay over there, so that it can continue this uptrend that it's trying to do. Otherwise, man, let's see. Is there anything bearish on Ethereum, like wave-wise? Let's see here, man. Definitely just like a little bit of hidden bear div, right? Like we're much, much lower, and yet the waves have come up, you know? So there's a little bit of like downward wave pressure going on ETH, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy there. What I don't like about it, the 12-hour here, is like the majority of the momentum is to the downside, and there's not many opportunities to short. But when you do get these little waves on Ethereum on the 12-hour above the 0 line, it's a very lucrative short opportunity, and we seem that like we may be getting one of those. So the 12-hour on ETH could be getting dastardly. So if we came down from this July VWAP further, we would know why. We've got a big time frame here, kind of about to give us this like bearish trigger wave here. The daily, you know, even though we have come up over the -60 on ETH, we love to see that. We love to see that. I don't like how if you really like zoom into this wave, it's like already kind of like pinching a bit. It's not the kind of like straight shot up, like decisive recovery of the blue wave that I like to see. I mean, we're getting a little pinching here. It's looking a little worrisome. Like some smaller time frames could drag this daily wave down again or something like that. But yeah, I think that if Ethereum can get over its July anchor, this would look a lot better. But you can already see the signs of like a rejection at the July anchored VWAP manifesting here on the daily. It's just kind of like, it's like a newborn kind of indication. It hasn't confirmed yet. Billionaire says, you ever do 12-month candles and do the VWAP on that? Yeah, man, I'll do, you could do like if I go to the BLX chart, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about some lifetime Bitcoin structure, because this is always interesting. So if you go to like the 12-month chart, Bitcoin, let's see, let's look at some year-to-dates. So we'll go to 12-month chart, place those, and then we'll go down to like the weekly. And let's see, let's go cut one more year back too. Anchored VWAPs tell you a good story, especially anchored VWAPs on timeframes this big. For instance, 2024 was so far an amazing year for Bitcoin, and only recently have we lost that sentiment from a volume-weighted average price standpoint, right? Now we're under it. And so, like, it is some better value, some cheaper Bitcoin, obviously, than way up here. This is way overpriced from a volume-weighted average standpoint. If you're a Charles Schwab or an institution, you would much rather be buying some Bitcoin at or below the year-to-date VWAP. And so we are at those ranges where, you know, a big buyer could come in and like look at Bitcoin and think that it is a good value from a long-term standpoint. But from a trading standpoint, slipping under the year-to-date does a lot of bad things to the trend in like the medium term in the way you calculate your biases and things. But I mean, look at the 2-year VWAP. So if we go back to, let's see, is this 2023? This green one down here is the 2023 VWAP, and it did a really great job last year of like holding up the market. Like, see, like every time we come down, last year's AVWAP, I wish I knew about AVWAPs of this like this last year, because this was an amazing accumulation point for Bitcoin. And this anchored VWAP might not be out of the cards, guys. Like this, I mean, there's a chance that Bitcoin could continue lower, and eventually, like as this VWAP comes up, we get to about 40K or something, and we may have to come down. You know, like we may have to like regain some support down there, and that may be like a nice bottom. It lines up nicely with like some of our previous years' VWAPs. Like look at the 2022 VWAP, which you know, acted as resistance for quite a while until it became support. That's down there as well. So this is like a really nice region where Bitcoin could potentially, a bearish Bitcoin would likely come down to these VWAP levels to find some really secure, safe, lifetime support. So it's kind of a medium-term bearish read that these VWAPs are telling me, right? Like maybe a couple months of down if there's demand for these levels to be reached. That being said, they are ascending. You know, these VWAPs are aimed up for the most part, up, sideways up, right? And so that's good. Like if we came down to them and they were sloped up, I'd say there's a very likely chance there's a strong bounce at those levels. Dumping down to an upward sloped anchored VWAP is like a really good signal for a long. You see some candle strength on an upsloped VWAP that you're on top of. That's nice, man. That's nice. So, and if you look at the overall structure of what the chart would look like at that point, you pretty much got like a big like cup and handle, or like if we dumped like that, you've got left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So you've got a head and shoulders. You've also got maybe just like a cup and handle, right? A big cup and then a handle. Continuation to the upside. Bouncing off some multi-year VWAP support down there. So even if there's death and destruction, like it'll be for the best, man. It humbles crypto Twitter, purges the market of evildoers, more time for the common man to get in. I get more jacked because I'm doing more push-ups. There's a lot of great things that come along with Bitcoin getting cheaper. Bitcoin getting cheaper is a good thing. So, you know, if it continues up, that's cool, more power to us. But if it goes down, that's very inviting for the common person. You see Bitcoin at 40K, you know, that's very attractive. You know, like, shit, man. That would be nice. And that would obviously spell the death of altcoins. And so, like, you look at Bitcoin dominance and, man, I think what I did is I placed like a VWAP at like this low down here, and so this VWAP has kind of ebbed and flowed, and you can see that like Bitcoin, despite its dominance continuing to look bearish divergent, it is over this VWAP now, and you even have like a VWAP at this low that's rising and like pushing it up. And so, I mean, is it possible that maybe dominance could, I mean, maybe we do fall down and this bear div does play out to an extent and we fall down to perhaps the 382 retracement or that powerful anchored VWAP support, but then we could bounce from there like 15% in some sort of altcoin apocalypse or some shit. Bitcoin goes to its 60%, the golden retrace of dominance. And then we've bottomed, and it's like alt season after that. Not really sure, man. Not really sure. But to me, it looks like very divergent on the weekly, this Bitcoin dominance. But also, it does seem like it really wants to go to like 60%. So, how that's affecting my long-term investing. I'm mostly tethered up and trading with a majority of like my tether, you know. Um, just mostly protecting my dollar value right now because I don't want to be like spread around in a bunch of shit coins if this is what's gonna happen. Peter Sniff says, "What if we retest 30K would break all VWAPs?" Retest 30K. Yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin, let's go back to that macro chart. If we were to dump to 30K, we would have to see what happens there. You know, what if there's a wick down to 30K, but then the big candles, like maybe a weekly or a monthly, closes above 40K. You know, that would show some really nice candle strength over these lifetime structural support VWAPs, and that would be really nice, man. But if it's like closing down there and looking bad, I mean, I guess you'd have to. I mean, if these ever did become resistance overhead, that would be a tough challenge for Bitcoin to overcome. But I'd say it's far too soon to talk about something like that. John Asher says, either way, we're getting jacked. Yes, bro. I mean, think about how boring Bitcoin's been. I mean, thank God I was doing push-ups and worried about things other than Bitcoin going straight up for the last 150 days, you know? There's so many people out there who are just like, they're just clutching their bags, sitting at the computer screen day in, day out, trying to figure this whole crypto and trading thing out. And they sacrifice so much for that. Oftentimes they sacrifice everything. They sacrifice their health, their family, their love life, their fun, their enjoyment, all these things. And that's the lesson that I want to teach with sticking with that challenge is like, I got so much done focusing on the things that really matter instead of just sitting around waiting for the price to do what I wanted to do. So make sure you guys are moving forward and looking at other opportunities in life and growing, and don't be waiting on Bitcoin to get your life together. So that's about it for my update today. Man, just like not really the best. You know, if we can, I mean, it looks like we are getting a candle over this weekly VWAP, but it's not decisive yet. I like the wave reading. I do like this double hump here. The money flow looks a little crappy, not gonna lie. But Bitcoin is currently like trying to flip some weekly VWAP resistance into support. That would be this 57,239 level. If we can flip this as support, then we do have a more surefire play, just a retest of resistance back up to the July anchored VWAP. And yeah, other than that, if we lose this level, I would say that we plunge back down to the lows, whether it's this low or this low. But I'm not really going to talk about a complete, like a new bottom being formed until we actually lose 54,545, which is the Q4 of 2023 anchored VWAP. This is a really strong level for us currently. So I am banking on this overall structure holding. But yeah, that's my update for you guys tonight. Got one more update for the week tomorrow. And then I'm going to Florida to go support our boy Mike Perry in this Jake Paul fight. You might catch me at the press conference, and I'll just be sure to take lots of pictures and be a good sponsor for Mike, and try to take away as much as I can from this event and bring it back to you guys, the traders. And I'm gonna I'm gonna stay low key for you guys. I'm gonna stay your hidden gem in the crypto space, man. I'm gonna stay humble. I'm gonna stay a positive influence. I'm not gonna let whatever fate becomes of me. I promise I'll make the best of it, man. If only if you guys do. You guys gotta stay humble with me, man. But yeah, you guys have a good